All right. Hey, what is going on, you guys? So this is the first podcast of this channel
Yeah, it is.
that
It
has
is.
that has no name to it. Uh, I think Chill&Spill is probably honestly a good name, honestly, just because I see a lot of other ones that are like ladies and tangents and ranting related podcasts,
Yeah.
and I mean honestly, that's kind of what we are. We talk about nonsense.
Yeah. It just kind of all
Whatever,
comes.
yeah, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
Uh, we should introduce each other, or well, not each other, but ourselves.
No, I think we should introduce each other.
But well, my name is Jay. I am a very gay person. Currently 21 in college. Don't know what the fuck I want to do with my life yet. So that's always fun and cool and cute. Uh, Constantly always, switching. Not me. Well, not always constantly switching majors, but like right now I'm an IT. But we all know that's probably going to change next semester, as always. Liv, why don't you introduce yourself?
I am Liv. I also don't know what the fuck I want to do with my life. I I'm very interested in video games and media and stuff that goes on that I really shouldn't care about.
That's a big
So,
mood. But I think we're gonna try to upload these every Wednesday, or I'm gonna try to upload it at least, because I guess it's more of my channel thing, and I probably won't always be Liv because sometimes maybe she's not available. Gotta find another co-host
oh,
for the
no,
day.
replace me.
Well, you're not gonna be fully replaced. Sometimes like you're gonna go to like Vermont or something, and then I'm gonna be all alone. Like, what am I supposed to do then, huh? Be alone.
We can still call,
We could.
make it work. That's what professionals do.
I mean, I guess as long as your family's not gonna like butt in or something.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out or just record ahead of time.
True. Though I think it would be kind of funny to have your mom on podcast at some point
Oh no.
and have her answer some questions. I make it sound like it was gonna be like some really bad questions. Like she's gonna answer some questions.
They
Like I'm
should
gonna
be.
be some investigator.
Make them awkward.
Ask.
Here's the thing about my mom is like she knows how to work with awkward and she knows how to make the lamest jokes and I love her.
Well, see, that's what makes podcasts fun. People
Yeah,
who know how to deal with it, and also just moms, parents on podcasts.
are
I think
great.
that's hilarious to have
Yeah.
on, especially when you're gonna be like, if you're gonna play a game of like, what does Gen Z lingo mean, and then just have her start to guess on what it means. Even though I don't know how well that would work because I don't even know what half of it means.
Honestly, here's the thing, I could probably set that up. That'd be hilarious.
It would be.
Yeah.
That would make it great for like a second podcast to do.
Yes.
Have your mom find some time to come on to the little show, and we'll have to think of something because I mean, while I think the like lingo thing would be funny, I want to find other things for your mom to like do.
Mhm.
You know, it would be better if we were like all in the same room, so that way it could be like we could play like a game with her,
Yeah, that would be
like a
really
physical game, and to like give her and be like, read this out loud, and then tell us what you think it means. I don't know. I think that would be hilarious.
it would be very fun. I think she would have a good time.
Uh,
I think she would enjoy that.
I think she would too.
She's very clingy. I love her.
I
I
know.
mean that with the best intentions, but she
I
is
know.
very clingy.
But she's a good mom.
She
She is.
is. That's where I get it from.
I know. She knows how to deal with awkward, but she gave you the awkward.
You really did. It's
Because I
the worst.
mean, your dad doesn't seem as awkward, but then again, I don't really interact with your dad,
No,
honestly.
he's not very awkward at all. He
So
knows how to
I don't know where you
interact
got it
with
from.
people. He's a very social person.
I know. I don't know where you got it from then.
My
Someone
mom.
gave it to you. Your mom knows how to deal
She
with awkward, but is also awkward.
yeah. She knows how to joke around. She knows how to embarrass me is the thing. That makes her feel better. So it's like
I know. Every time like we're on call or something, I always like it when your mom comes in. She's like, "What are you doing on Minecraft? What is that? What is
I
this?"
know. She does not understand.
But that's hilarious. Too bad that your mom gets like motion sickness because she would make like a great addition to your channel or something.
She really would.
I would try to get my mom on here, but I don't.
I could
You know, my
play
mom can be fun, but
yeah.
what were you gonna say though?
I was just gonna say I could play video games with my dad. My dad and my cousin play video games constantly.
True, but
And
it's more funny when they don't know what it is. Like, kind of like those YouTubers that are like, "Oh, it's this," and it's like clearly dirt.
That's so funny. I feel like
Like, I
everyone
know,
in their head when someone says something like that.
I know, or like, "Oh, it's this. How do I make this?" And it's like right there, right in front of them of how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like you make it like this. I mean, it's kind of infuriating, but at the same time hilarious. And I know sometimes, like, actually, probably a lot of time it's more for views if they act dumb like that.
Yeah. See, I feel like we should play RL Craft because that would be at least me.
That would be.
RL Craft seems horrifying.
It does. Anything with Minecraft that makes it seem more real than it should be is terrifying, honestly.
It really is.
Though, but imagine RL Craft, but then make that VR. Because looking at like Minecraft VR, like, so I realize that PS4 doesn't do it correctly, I guess. And it's just like pancake mode. That's what somebody said, and so that stuck with me. Pancake mode. Minecraft is in pancake mode on VR.
Oh my god, it really is.
But then, like, when you have a whole like computer set up that can run it as you know a VR game, it's so different. Like, yes, you have to more use your arms to actually mine, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But I say that because I'm lazy. Uh,
Me too.
but being able to just like walk around in something you created, I think is so wild to me. Like, you've built yourself like this amazing house, and now you can walk around in it, look out the window,
Yeah,
like
that
climb up a fucking mountain, and just like look over that mountain
that would be so
and watch a sunset. And I want to experience that. And I don't know, I just think that's fucking amazing. But
yeah.
and PSVR can work on PC. It's just it requires a whole lot more setup on my part, I guess. And I think that's kind of a pain. So it's like, is that really worth it? I don't know.
It can be.
It can be,
It can be.
but
I feel like there's a lot more PC games than there are like I mean, at least like quote unquote good PC games, you
yeah,
know, or games in general than there are like on a PS4.
yeah, I agree. And like games, I'm very picky on how. I mean, I guess anyone's like kind of picky on how games are. Like I have to really like watch somebody play it before I'm like into that game
That is definitely how I am too.
because I can't just be like, oh, this game seems interesting, and then go buy it to play it because I'm
Because
gonna
it
be like,
was,
well, what if I don't like the game?
yeah. Yeah, or it's like the description doesn't do it justice. You're like, oh, it sounds cool, but when I really play it, you know? So
Yeah,
you have to watch someone so you can be like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that myself.
I know. Or like I got Control for the PS4, and I like the game so far. I like how everything runs. I just haven't played it much. And at first, I got it for free because of PSN Plus, and how they do the monthly subscription. Well, not monthly subscription, but like every month they have a free game. So
Hmm.
I got it, and I never played it until Ash, my boyfriend, he was like, "Oh well, I'm gonna get Control and I'm gonna play it." So I was like, "Okay, so maybe if he likes it, I'm gonna like it. So I'll start playing." And I did start playing it, and I did enjoy it from the 30 minutes that I played it. And I have to get back to it, but I don't know. Like I'll even get free games, and I'm just like, I probably won't fully download it because I haven't seen anyone play it, and it's just I don't know.
You know
I'm
what's
very
so funny? Sorry.
what was
Is Chantel and I also got Control, and we played it for like an hour at least, and we could not get past the first level. So we were like, "What the fuck is?"
oh my god. um, so Control. And just talking about video games that no, so we were talking about video games and like liking them and
Okay.
how like difficult it is to find a game that we like. Because I'm
Yeah,
into specific like very specific games. So it's like it has to be an open world. I have to be able to explore and run around, be able to do my own thing and not be stuck on one path. You know?
I definitely agree with that.
So like Hitman, yes, there's a golden objective to it, but I can still run around and do things freely as I please. It's not like a go left, now go right, now go do this, now go do that. I can go explore and like pick up things and do what I want. I mean, there's some like puzzle games that are like that can be fun, or like Detroit Become Human, for example. Yes, that's a very story based game, and I can't go to too many places and run around exactly, but at the same time, in the same way, I can. You know,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily open world, but I can control the player, and I can go pick up and look at things,
it's
and
more open
especially yeah,
than nothing.
yeah, and it being like story driven. So if I go and look at the blood on the floor, then that leads into another storyline rather than it just be like a oh whatever, who cares.
Yeah,
And I think Detroit Become Human actually is one of the better examples, and Cyberpunk, even though not a lot of people like that game, but um,
I think it's a hate
I-
train, but that's my personal opinion.
probably. Honestly, I think so too. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. But I feel like Cyberpunk and Detroit, those are the only two games I think who have done a gun job, good job of like roping me in to like for me wanting their game. Because it's not
Yeah.
every day that I find a game that's like, oh, I really, really want this game. Because a lot of games I have to see gameplay on it, and it has to be from like a YouTuber that I like. It can't be just from like any random YouTuber either. If my favorite YouTuber's not gonna play it, then I mean, I'm not gonna be interested, honestly. And I
Yeah,
think,
I definitely understand that.
yeah, and Cyberpunk, I think is actually the first and only game so far that I have pre-ordered. So, and do I regret that? Not one bit, because it has now led to an obsession of Cyberpunk. And
See, and
oh,
I
not really
feel like
friends.
sorry.
No, you're fine. But go on.
I was just gonna say say the reason I feel like it's such a hate train is just because yeah, it was pretty buggy when it came out, but I personally, as one of the luckier ones who didn't at least run into a lot of bugs my few playthroughs of it that I did, um, it was a good game. Like, if you look past the bugs, yeah, maybe it shouldn't have been whatever released like that, like some people were saying,
Mhm.
but, like, time crunches are a thing, like, people get stressed, that's a huge game. You
Yeah,
know, like people, they're gonna make mistakes. They've been updating that game and now they've updated it to the point where the PS4 it's gonna go back on the PS4 4 store, the Play Store.
yeah.
So
And I
obviously it's not a bad game.
yeah. And I think what happened with this is yeah, time crunching and also just backers being like, when is this game gonna be released? When is this game gonna be released?
Mhm.
And then CDPR being like, okay guys, we need to hurry this up. We don't have time to test it again. We don't have time for this, we don't have time for that. Just put this in and we'll go with it. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. It wasn't just because people were pushing it and complaining about it. Because I mean, who gives a fuck about that, honestly?
Yeah.
Because they can get their money back for a game that hasn't even came out yet, and that's no big deal to them. And maybe it kind of is because that's some of the money that they're getting, but a lot of times they're being backed by backers who like the idea of the game. But
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people were very unfair to
yeah,
the creators of that game because it is a beautiful game. Like,
it
there's a
really
whole
is.
community centered around the pictures people can get from that game. It is gorgeous. It
It
looks
is. It
so
really
good.
is. And with you
It is
getting
a
a new computer, um, you can make your game a lot more beautiful with like reshades and all these like textures and recolor that's gonna take off like the weird green tints and give it like a more not natural but something that just looks better than just the green that is very obviously on there.
yeah.
And I'm very excited for you to get Cyberpunk on the PC because while it looks decent on the PS4, like I didn't have any major issues or major like graphical issues, but seeing it compared from the PS4 to the PC is just wow. There's so much more detail and I don't know how to describe it. It's and I hope that you get it whenever you get paid again.
Yes. I should be getting paid here soon, and
Ooh.
I plan on taking advantage of that Steam sale. See how many things I can pile into my cart before it becomes too much money. And then that way
That's considered too much money for you.
honestly, sadly, it's that number is not low enough, and I need to work on that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
um,
mood.
but hopefully I can get a nice pile of games, some classic games, because I really want to play a few classic games that I didn't get to hop on the bandwagon for when they first came out and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and that way I can have some stuff compiled for streaming and have stuff planned ahead of time so I'm not like last minute trying to do stuff.
Mhm. What are your plans for streaming your channel? What do you plan on doing, playing? What does the future look like for Liv is trying her best?
Oh my god. Well, that future is very bright with my current number of zero anything.
I mean,
Uh,
you got one follower. That follower is me,
yes,
the one and
my
only
number
true fan.
one fan. Um, I don't know. I really kind of just want to have fun. I want to like plan stuff ahead. Like I have games in mind that I do want to play that would be really cool.
Mhm.
To like have friends like make fun of me or whatever. But I it's gonna be hopefully it's gonna be pretty laid back and just a fun atmosphere. I want to try to get Dead by Daylight, see how many people I can convince to let me stream with them. Yeah, a
Besides
lot of
Minecraft and Dead by Daylight, what games are you wanting to play the most and stream and record?
oh god.
Not prepared for the hard hitting questions.
It's just because my immediate response was gonna be Minecraft and we
I know
just
I ruled it out because I already know that you are in love with Minecraft.
Yes, it is going to for those who are unaware, it is going to be a lot of Minecraft, but it's also um hopefully I want to get into like playing some scary games. I want to try Resident Evil out
Oh,
because I
Resident Evil is a
think
good one.
yeah, I think I played on my dad's PS3 like years ago. I feel like I was like 15, I don't know. Um one of the first Resident Evil games and we had almost finished that game together and it was really really cool. So I want to get into that um production line. I don't what
Production
I
line, assembly
don't line of
worker.
games.
Resident Evil is fun. The last one I remember playing, I think, is the seventh one. I
Mhm.
think, and that was a really good one. And I played it with a then boyfriend, so that kind of also made things easier. Because at that time, I was heavily into video games, but I didn't play many games like Resident Evil because when I did YouTube back then, I was like a Minecraft only YouTuber for the
Yeah.
most part. That and Sims. I did a lot of Sims and other like small little flash games because I was broke, but also I didn't have many interest in games that I could record on my own little laptop.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that pain.
Because like the laptop that I had wasn't little. It's not little. It's actually kind of clunky. It's a Asus something Gamers Republic laptop from like
Mm.
2012, 2013. And so, back then the RAM's gonna have only like 1 gig of RAM or 2 gigs of RAM. But that was like enough to play like most video games. But it wasn't enough for when like GTA came out, GTA 5. So I couldn't run that, or it actually really couldn't run a multitude of games unless they were like very simple Minecraft or Roblox kind of games. Or games that
Yeah.
had came out before 2013. And it sucked, but it was like I was content with that laptop. I didn't find the need to upgrade it because I had my PS4.
You weren't a
Or
super gamer at the time.
yeah, I had my I guess it'd be more PS3 and then my PS4. And even then, I figured out streaming from there with getting a little Elgato gaming and using that to capture it. And I mean, you still have to do it like that, but there might be easier ways that I'm unaware of. But it's just that's what I know.
Yeah.
And at least you're very lucky to get yourself a new computer and be able to do that stuff and be able to run the games that are both on PS4 and on PC.
I know. I am so lucky that I was able to just be like, "Hey, I need this PC. Can I please have this PC?" And my family was able to be like, "Yeah." I am such a like like a little baby.
You are. Because like, not to like expose too much of your like family life, but it's kind of like you're the only child, but you're not the only child.
Yeah, I'm definitely like um babied in my household. See it's a very interesting situation just because my older sisters are just very um like not in my life, and not
Yeah,
necessarily in a bad way, but we are just like in such separate places, like physically. You know,
yeah,
like I have a sister that lives very far away, and
yeah,
my other one is always busy with work, and she has her own kid, and it's
yeah. That's another thing because with siblings with big age gaps, it's hard to get with them because they're also at different points in their life.
yeah, 100%. But I love my siblings so much. I mean, I need to tell that to them more, but I absolutely love them. I am the baby of the family.
You are. You're the baby, but you also act the most mature out of a lot of people.
Oh God.
I mean, I may not like show on stream or something, but it's you are the most mature out of our friend group.
Sadly, I guess so.
But that's not always like a bad thing. I remember back in like when I was a child, and I say child, like I mean elementary school, and a lot of my teachers be like, "Oh well, Jay is so mature for his age," and I don't know. I always think that's such a weird compliment for a child. Like I understand the meaning behind it, and it's like good intentions, but it's kind of more like I think it's you should probably say more like your child's very polite.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that gives a child some like it gives a child too much responsibility that they
Yeah,
should be dealing with at the
yeah.
time.
Because like even because I think that also makes parents be like, "Oh, my kid's very mature. Okay, more responsibility for my kid for being mature." And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I you raised a good child who knows how to be quiet when it's time to be quiet, and who can like hold a conversation with adults in a way. I mean, that sounds weird, but like you know, a child can hold a conversation, and be like, "Oh, how are you, Miss whatever?" or "How are you? How is your day going?" You know, like a general like an appropriate conversation between a teacher and like a fifth grader.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, because as a kid who was constant like at like 12 or like 10, I would be told, "Oh, you have such an old soul. You are such a you are such a responsible like child." Um I would just be like, "I guess so." And it just kind of like I feel like it gives you a complex in a way.
yeah, yeah, I get that. It's also kind of weird to say a child has an old soul. Like I understand the meaning behind it and all that shit, but like you're 12 and you have such an old soul. I can see the old lady in you. And it's
Right.
like I'm just a kid, ma'am, please.
For real.
I'm just trying to do my work and I'm just letting you know that the boy next to me is being a douchebag.
I need to mute my Discord notifications. I am so sorry.
It's okay. It's
I
all right.
just
It's only the
chilling.
first podcast. We're trying to figure everything out, and because literally before this we didn't have anything really configured because I thought that on Mac I could just screen record this or do something like that. and then just replace it with a black screen. Apparently, that was not the case. I did not realize that Mac doesn't let OBS record audio desktop, which I don't understand the purpose behind that, or like I don't know if it's just like for protection purposes or like what.
Yeah.
And I thought about moving it to my desktop, but then I was like, I don't have good earbuds for this to put to my desktop because Apple doesn't really work with other stuff, which sucks, but like that's also the price I pay with, honestly. That is a thing I can live with. But in due time, we'll get this all sorted out. We'll get a name. I mean, I kind of have a name, like I said in the beginning, but we'll see because I don't want to be generic, or like I don't know. I I just don't want to be generic, you know, because having a title like Jay and Liv is kind of like simple, but also what or Jay and Friends, very
I def
simple and overused.
yeah.
But I want something catchy and something that might kind of hold true to like this podcast. Because if I say like, what was I gonna say? Something in beers. Oh, queers and beers. Like that
Mhm.
wouldn't make sense because we're not drinking right now, and you don't really like to drink, frankly. So it's like that doesn't really work.
Yeah. I don't at all.
Which is okay. That is fine. Or like Chill&Spill. I think that's pretty fun. But I'm also like considering other name options before I'm just like, yes, put this on us. So, you know, some of these episodes, or I guess this channel for a while, will be kind of nameless until I make up my mind.
Sadly.
But that's okay. That it doesn't need
Yeah,
to have a name right away.
it does not. We'll figure it out. We could just be like unnamed podcast.
What if I
We can
just kept it like that, unnamed podcast?
unnamed podcast. We could.
I mean,
Totally.
it'd be pretty unique, unnamed podcast. And it's like, hey, what's the name of that podcast you listen to? Unnamed podcast. Oh, why? So are they coming up with a name yet? Oh no, it's just called unnamed podcast. I mean, it does make it sound very mysterious. Of like, who are
It
these
does.
people on the unnamed podcast? What do they talk about on this unnamed podcast? But that is to come. Future of the podcast though, of what is talked about on. I do want to like implement true crime or like because I feel like news at this point is just true crime in some way.
It really is. News is just only about death. Death and
It really
sad.
is. Like before we
I
started streaming or podcasting here, I saw on my phone from like the Daily Mail of like a couple getting shot up in their SUV. I was like, oh cool, another death today in America. Isn't like I haven't seen that every single day.
yeah.
But I do want to implement like a new segment or something, whether it be an actual like true crime or I don't know, firefighter saves a fucking puppy. Something interesting to like start us off, but also you know something that maybe someone hasn't heard of, or get people like on the news, but not make it so fucking boring.
Yeah, for sure.
That and since these are recorded every Saturday for us, but uploaded every Wednesday for you guys, also just talking about our week because I think that's kind of nice without spilling too much of our personal life, but also be like, oh, this is what happened this week. An anti-masker came into my workplace and I shouted at him or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I would shout at them, but like they have
You
given me
want
the urge to shout at them.
it makes you want to.
It really does.
100%.
At the place you work at, are they still requiring everyone to wear masks over there?
Not if they're vaccinated, but if you are not vaccinated, you do have to wear a mask.
Ah, okay. I gotcha.
Yes.
See, for where I work at, without giving away details, I work for a very global company, I guess you can say. Well, I mean, it is. And so they're still requiring masks. And so I get all these people who come in and they're like, oh, but the government said, and it's like, okay, look, I've heard this like 10 times today. I
Yeah.
don't care what the government has said. I'm going to need you to put on your masks. And if you do not, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Like, yes, we sell them here, technically, starting this Monday for like 25 cents. But, you know, other than that, if you can't afford one, then you're going to have to like get out and go somewhere else. We cannot help you here. Like, stop throwing away your mask. Because some places around where we live still require them. And I understand that not everybody who comes in is from where we live. But it's like, I'm sure where you live probably still requires it in some places.
Yeah. Unless you're in one of the like I feel like places, not to like seem rude or anything, I feel like places like California or something will be like, "No, you're fine."
Yeah. But it's
But
still,
definitely like
yeah. It's just, it gives me a headache, honestly. Because it's like, why you gotta come in here and make my life hard? Why do you gotta come in here and argue and say, but the government? That's not gonna change my company's policy. Okay? It's not like you saying, oh, but the government has lifted the mask mandate. Oh, sir, you're right. You're right. They have lifted it. Let me go call my company real quick and let them know so they can lift this mask mandate immediately. Like,
for
what do
real,
you think
just
I'm
for
gonna
you.
do?
Just for you.
What do you think I'm going to do? You can go call them. I'm sure they have millions of complaints about that. And you know what they've done about it? Nothing. They've wiped their asses with your complaint and tossed it in the toilet.
Yeah.
Like, just put on a mask and go. That's all I can. Like, get on with your day, get your thing over with, so I don't have to stare at you for the next 5 hours. I mean, I guess, okay, I will preface of what I work for because the way I talk about things is going to sound really confusing. I'm a testing proctor. Yeah, I do that. I'm a part time. I mean, all these jobs are part time, basically. Testing proctors are part time. And so I just sit there, I watch people test. And so it's like a multitude of tests. It's not any specific test. But we do get several main testers, which is your medical testing and you got medical testing, financial testing, and automotive testing. And medical testers, they're usually pretty good. Though last week I got one person. He was a medical tester. I won't say his name or nothing like that. But he came in without a mask first, and I said, "Sir, you need a mask on." Okay. So he pulls out his mask out of his pocket. So he's got a cloth one. Because it seems like people without a mask, they mostly have the paper ones.
Hmm.
But I get him checked in and all that. He goes through. My coworker checks him in, does a security check, and tells him, "You need to keep your mask on the entire time you are testing." And um, and this was after he asked if he could take his off once he got into the testing room because it flogs. Yes, it flogs up his glasses. It fogs up his. And so she explains to him, "No, you cannot do that. Does not matter if you are vaccinated or not. It is company policy that you have to keep it on." And so this medical student essentially said, "Masks, masks do not work." And it's like, I see in some ways why you would say that, but at the same time, you are going to be a doctor, I assume, considering you are taking a medical licensing test. So how can you sit there and say that?
Hmm.
And
Some
I don't know. He
people
was not
just
my favorite.
Yeah. Some people just should not be
A doctor.
in the medical profession. Yeah.
Yeah, in general, yeah. Or like for my dad, he knows a woman who she's a nurse, and I assume she's like a family practitioner. Just from the way she spoke about COVID when it was like in its early stages. And basically said COVID was not real and it was just the flu. And that not a lot of people go into the hospital for it, but it's like you're probably a family doctor and you don't see it a lot. It's very real and it will fuck up your life.
It really
So
will.
please don't spread that kind of misinformation. I mean, my dad believed it. And then you know what happened? COVID was like, "Oh, you don't believe in me? You don't believe that I'm real? Okay. You're going to get COVID." And then now he can't breathe now. He needs a medical device for him to be able to walk around and have his blood oxygen levels be regular.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we don't know where he got
Yeah.
it from, but he got it from somewhere. And, after that, he called me when he got out of the hospital. He's like, "Well, hey, COVID's pretty serious. Make sure you're staying 6 feet apart and wear your mask and like doing the things you need to do to not be sick because this shit sucks." I was like, "I know, Dad. I tried to tell you last time, but guess what? You did not listen to me. You said it was just the
Yeah.
flu, and I ignored that because I did not want to fight with you." But at least it's kind of ending, but honestly, I'm not really sure because then some days I see things of like COVID's on the rise, and it's like I'm gonna kill myself. 100%.
Oh my god. I definitely understand that. It gets very frustrating just because our entire lives just got shut down out of
For real.
nowhere so suddenly, and no one knew what to do, like, where to go from there, like, what can you do? Where can you go from there? That's, it hits hard.
Yeah. Or like today, I saw that a lot of Londoners were protesting about a lockdown that they might be going through again. I know Sydney in Australia is also probably going through another lockdown or something like that I saw from Twitter.
Mhm.
And it's like by you guys gathering like this, there is more probable cause for a lockdown if you're all going to gather without a mask. Like this is how this starts. So you're just
Yeah.
making it worse for
If you
yourself.
want it to end, just comply. I know that's, like, not the ideal that you should spread for most things, but, like,
Yeah,
no one likes wearing a mask. Like, it's not fun. I don't go, "Oh, yay, I get to wear my mask outside
I know.
today." No
For
one
real.
likes doing that. But I know I want the government to stop locking us down. I wanna get
Yeah.
this over with.
Yeah, exactly. For America though, it never felt like we were ever in lockdown ever. Not at one point was I like, "Oh, I'm so bored. I'm in lockdown."
I
Everyone
know.
literally
Well,
lost their jobs and they're like, "We're all going to go outside now because
yeah,
I have all this free time to do jack shit."
yeah. Everyone started playing video games. That's how I got into video games.
True. But and I feel like it may not even happen because I guess we're doing okay-ish, but I feel like at some point we're all going to go back into lockdown at some point. For real.
For
Like
real. And
just
it's gonna be
America.
like a it's gonna be like a almost end of the world crisis kinda thing, you know?
It
That's how
really
I
would
feel.
be.
me.
It's
That's
only a
when the
matter
government
of time,
will kill all of us.
especially with like, because I don't want to bring too much politics into this, but like people just being like, my rights, I don't have to get vaccinated, and people that I know of. Because here's the thing, which I don't get. Because the people that I know, they're like, I'm not going to get vaccinated until the government forces me to. And it's like, why would you let or like, until they have to go to school or something, you know? Let the
Mhm.
government or someone else force you to get vaccinated. Like, if you weren't going to get it in the first place, then why get it at all?
I
Why
know.
let someone else? Why have someone else force you to get it? If you're not going to get it
Isn't
on
it
free
more
will, then
forcing it into you than
right?
letting you have choice?
Yeah. Like, why are you going to let your future university make you get the vaccine if you're not going to get it in the first place?
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, I guess if that means that you get it, then fine. But I still don't understand it.
Do you, whatever makes you feel better.
Yeah. Like, I got mine out of pure choice, and also just the fact of if a place is not going to require me to wear a mask because I'm vaccinated, then fuck it. I got this to be free. God damn it.
Yeah.
But can't do that at work because it does not apply to work, unfortunately.
Which sucks.
It does. It really does suck. But that's just how things are. And now I'm stuck fighting with people every day about this issue. And it's like, why do you do this? I understand that a lot of you guys did not purchase a cloth mask, but maybe you should have done that, so that way you didn't throw away your mask by accident. Or purposely, I guess, at this point. Because they thought that a mask mandate lifting would mean that everywhere lifted. Because they say my rights, but they forget about the company's rights.
Yep. When you're on private property, they can make you follow whatever rules they want you to, as
Pretty
long as it's
much.
not against the law.
Exactly. And that's what I hate about America, too. Besides it just being a country. um,
For real.
that what's heavily highlighted is my rights and gun rights. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
yes, your rights, but there's other rights of other individuals and companies and private businesses that they can force you to do. So yes, while your rights matter, those only apply to certain places. It does not apply to everywhere. Just like if I'm on school grounds, you kind of lose the right to do a lot of things.
Yeah. You have to follow the rules,
Like freedom of
if you
speech,
want to be able to be there.
literally. Like I can't show up to school with my gun and be like, "Oh, well, gun rights." No, I'm gonna
I
get
know.
arrested for that. I
Yeah.
can't walk on, or I can't go to my workplace with a gun. It literally says no guns in this building, no weapons of any sort, unless you're like military or police.
Mhm.
Like I've lost my right to be in my workplace and have no guns. That's the fucking rules. If I do that, I will get arrested.
'Cause I mean, it can definitely be considered a threat because why are you bringing
A
a
gun,
weapon to somewhere where you shouldn't, you know?
or
I
especially like
know,
to your
like, there
workplace.
I know. Um, I work with children. I feel like that's as far as I'm kinda willing to go with that because I don't wanna lose my job.
Yeah, definitely not.
Um, and I feel like working with children is a very, like, private
It's vague.
kinda
Yeah,
yeah.
it's vague enough though, because who knows what the fuck you do.
Yeah, right. But if someone were to bring a gun, I mean, everyone would be just freaked out because why? Sure, you have the right to protect yourself, but from children? from the
What's a
people
child
who
gonna
work
do?
with children. Yeah. You don't need to bring it everywhere. It's kind of like a read the room situation. You have the right to have it, but you also um had to acknowledge that other people are human beings with feelings, you know,
Yeah,
who when you bring something like that around somewhere you shouldn't, people are gonna feel threatened, and that's how you end up needing to protect yourself in a sense, I guess, because people
yeah,
will feel threatened by you.
yeah,
But if you're just like, if you just don't, no one will bother you. Understandably,
exactly.
if you go somewhere dangerous, yeah, you have every right to bring to be packing that thing on you, you know? Like you can bring it wherever you want, but
Leave it in
consider
your
where,
car.
yeah, consider where you're going first.
Like, or if I showed up to church with that, I mean, understandably, people would be very threatened. And church, I feel like, is
Yeah,
a very big place of like people who are like my
safety.
rights and stuff like that, like the typical people
Oh, yeah,
who think like that.
yeah.
But yeah, safety too. I don't know. I don't, and I think I blame part of this kind of like on the school system because they're like, oh, read your constitutional rights, and then people read that, but they read like the first like 3 or 4. They're like, oh, this is all I need to know.
Yeah, not a very educated uh species we are. I mean, humans are smart. We've got technology. I'm able to talk to you through like airwaves connecting us, you know, like
We made a rock
that's
think.
yeah, literally. Like we're smart in that sense for sure, but when it comes to like anything else, humans just are not knowledgeable. We're very ignorant to the world. We don't know 90% of the very thing we live on top of. We don't know anything about the deep ocean.
Yeah. Or we don't realize that
Like,
we're like literally killing our Earth.
I know.
I think it
And
was like
people who
like a
do
week ago.
realize that get told that they're lying.
Yeah. I think it was like a week ago. At least for us. There was a carbon emissions warning or something like that. And it was only for a
Mhm.
day. And it's like, oh, don't leave your car running and walk to work. And it's like, okay, first
No,
of
the
all,
air
it's
quality
really fucking hot
sucks.
out. Yeah. It's really fucking
Mhm.
hot out, for one. Two, a day is not going to do anything. Several days
I
is not
know.
going to do anything. We would have to go
Has
years without it in order to, like, fix the problem.
yeah, to actually make the necessary difference.
We would have to stop using big ass factories that produce smog and cars and, like, a bunch of other shits in order to actually make some sort of change.
Yeah. Because just
And
saying, "Hey, for this just for today, can you pretty please ride the bus instead? We really need our air quality to like we need to be able to breathe today." That
yeah.
I mean, sure, but one who's gonna you know what people say? Okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind, and they immediately get in their car. They're not
Yeah, I'll keep that in
thinking
mind
about
as I drive.
yeah, it's we've created a world where we rely on the very thing that's killing our planet.
Yeah,
We will not be able to live without creating all this smog, and that's just kind of sad.
it is. Or like where we live is it's not great with transportation. Like we
At all.
absolutely suck. And like Nextdoor. So for those of you who don't know, who don't have it, Nextdoor is like a neighborhood social media app basically. I feel so old when I say social media. Oh, that's social media. Ha ha.
boomer.
Yes. Um, and so and then it's for your specific neighborhood or like a range of neighborhoods, I guess, more or less. And our city put out a thing to our next door app, and they're like, "Oh, we'll take this survey on bike paths and stuff like this for the next town meeting, city council meeting, whatever." And it's like, we don't need more bike paths here. We have a lot of those. We have too many
Mhm.
of those, actually, for a fact. We have too many of those.
Yeah. Lots of
Too many of
runners
them.
and
Too many of them. But yet, all these cyclists still like. I understand cycling, and that's more for the road. But like, I hate the cyclists on the road. I absolutely. But no, back to buses. The There are places that they could implement a bus stop, but our city decides to put more bike paths because our area is considered quote unquote rich, and that everyone has their license and everyone has a car, and we're all perfect healthy people who ride bikes all the time and drives their car to work, home every day, and
I guess I would say upper middle class, because 'cause we're not
yeah,
quite Beverly Hills, but it is for sure people who live here are comfortable. They're not. I mean, we
struggling.
definitely have those areas where people are struggling just like everyone, but,
Yeah,
like, for the most part, the people who live around here are comfortable people with nice cars and big houses.
yeah. And it's just like, maybe I don't want to spend money on the gas. I don't want to spend $30 on gas, you know?
Yeah.
Or I want a bus
Or
to pick me up. I don't feel like driving because I'm having a bad day. I want someone else to drive me.
I know, or someone is borrowing my car because I live in a household with a shared car. If someone's borrowing using the car and I need to go somewhere, what am I supposed to do? Or I'm at work with the car and someone who's here needs to get groceries, they have to walk the whole hour to get to the store, you know?
Yeah. Or if
I would.
I have multitude of friends who can't drive either for one
Mhm,
reason or another.
mhm.
And it's like I don't want to play chauffeur all the fucking time to get them from one place to another. Even if they're gonna pay me like $50. As much as I love my friends, I'm not gonna play chauffeur all the fucking time. That's not happening. And it
I know.
shouldn't have to be like
I know. As someone who regularly takes one of our good pals to work, um, every shift she has, unless I'm sick or something, and I love her with my entire heart. It is rough on your off days having to get up and take someone somewhere when all you wanna do is just, like, sleep all day or
yeah.
something. You know, if we had buses, I'd be able to say, "Hey, I'll pay for your bus fare."
And I hope to one day move in a place where, while I know I may not need the bus, that there is a bus stop just in case I were to need it, a friend were to need it, or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it costs like a monthly fee or whatever the fuck. Like I want to live in a place that has a bus fare. Maybe I want to go on a shopping trip, but I don't want to drive myself to that shopping mall. I don't know.
Mhm.
And I don't understand why, especially where we live, unless you're in like a big city, kind of like I'll kind of say where we are at. We're like on the Kansas City. So like in Kansas City there are buses, but you would have to be in the city.
Mhm.
And where we are, we're not in the city. We have a city, but we're not in the city. We're not close enough for them to come pick us up or nothing like that.
No, not at all. We're a good bit away from there.
Yeah. And I think that's honestly kind of depressing.
Yeah.
It's oh fuck.
I know, it's hard.
Pretend that does not exist.
Is this town?
Give it a second, so that way I know where to cut it out at. Is this town ever gonna change? Probably not.
Probably not.
Uh, which is sad.
I mean, it's a place where most people go to, like, live out their retirement.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people who, if they're leaving their house, they're going to visit family or, um, to just go to the store or something, you know, they're not.
Old rich white people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And just the fact that your family has lived here for generations, or I guess generations, yeah, would be the correct term, is why.
Yeah.
But I think we are going to end it there. Hopefully next podcast will go a little bit more smoother. And
We'll
we'll have
have more
more,
ideas.
yeah. Because this was just kind of a starter thing, and I thought our ideas would be substantial enough for like an hour, but we kind of also went through them quickly. So that's kind of why we were all over the place with stuff. But next one's going to be a little bit more organized, and we'll have it more figured out as all this progresses.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have it figured we will get to a point where we have it figured out, and it will go spick and span, and it will be fun and laughs and giggles, and it will be a good time.
I have a good feeling about this podcast and
Yes, I do too.
its future.
Especially